My favorite book of all times is The Giver. In the world that Lord Story creates, it is the year 2050. Everything's perfect and everyone is the same. No one can see his colors, except for the protagonist, Jonas. Well, Jonas soon realizes that his perfect world isn't so perfect after all. As he realizes how flawed his world is, he also becomes aware of the deeper social issue that arises. Similar to Jonas, I often feel that I can see things that others can't. For example, the danger of genetic editing, which millions of scientists are actually ignoring. In the near future, there may be designer babies who are created in labs with specs that their parents provide. Some some people think that sounds amazing, but I, like Jonas, see what they cannot. Danger. Just as Jonas learned to sharpen his abilities to see colors and feel emotions in The Giver, I've trained myself to recognize the hidden dangers of genetic editing through research and studies. In a world where we all are genetically edited, we'd lose what makes us unique. We'd all end up looking and thinking the same. It wouldn't be paradise, it would be a story we built over ourselves, chasing perfection, but losing what would make us human. So today, we're gonna go into my lab together and I will show you the results of my research. In this speech, we'll follow a journey much like Jonas in The Giver. It passed from ignorance to awareness, and ultimately to action. First, we'll uncover the truth about our society by defining genetic editing and examining the power it holds. Then, we'll confront the darker side of this technology by exploring real-world experiments and trials that went wrong, causing harm and raising serious ethical concerns. After that, we'll consider potential benefits, how genetic editing could be used to cure diseases and improve lives. But like Jonas, escaping his controlled world, we must also imagine a way to break free from the flaws in the current system with a solution. Finally, we'll conclude by reflecting on what this journey reveals about our values. So, genetic editing is changing our genes and our DNA, resulting in different proteins, which will result in different traits, possibly changing the DNA of the brain, skin, or the structure of the body, anything which makes this world dangerous, because there will be no fate, no worry, or chances or luck, where everything is already perfect and too predictable. But the harm isn't always theoretical. In fact, real world examples already reveal how ambition and greed can outweigh ethics. Genetic editing has become a hot topic, not just in science, but in the race of recognition and profit. And that exactly is what happened with He Jiankhe did, a Chinese researcher who experimented on twin girls and the third child. His experiment tried to make the girls immune to HIV. He did not get an approval from any official ethics committees or government authorities. His experiment was conducted without legal or scientific oversight, making it unauthorized and illegal. He also lied to the parents, misleading them and trying to make them believe the surgery was okay and easy to do, and it was all driven by greed. He put three people's life in danger for fame. Scientists like him can use their knowledge, feeding off parents' fear for their children's lives because they could die to commit things that are unhuman and cruel without thinking of the person's life. Well, the real results were never reported. Many scientists saw the plans and said that there can be many side effects on the three girls. To sum it all up, not all scientists can be trusted. Some can be driven by hope to help others, but some will be driven by greed and use lies in a legal way to experiment on people, which can show how bad genetic editing can affect society. We all agree that every single life is extremely important. We all lead different lives and have different impacts. But above all, life itself is a true valuable. Some people decide to sacrifice themselves for the country or family, but that was their choice. But in genetic editing, that isn't the case. People don't choose to be sacrificed. They just are. And they are just used as lab rats because of their age sometimes. Let's go back to 2023 in Oxford University. Dr. Nada tried to prove that inherited diseases can be cured by genetic editing safely. She was using embryos as her lab human subjects. They were embryos, not even babies. These embryos were donated to the university to be used as lab rats. Dr. Nada broke the DNA of the 33 embryos, killing 33 people. But you know what is way more concerning? that even if the research was successful, those embryos would have been killed. Have we really as a society reached a point where it's a human life as a lab rat? Those embryos could have become people who might have changed the world. We are not allowed to take a human life away to have an experiment which might or might not have been useful. We cannot waste a human life for an experiment because everyone has a message to deliver and any of those embryos could have changed our world today. But you know what is even worse? Our government is prioritizing genetic editing programs over our lives and safety in the USA. There are many underfunded systems like the Health Department or the Emergency Preparedness Programs or the Environmental Protection Agency which make safe drinking water. All of these departments are really underfunded and they are really important for our society. According to NIH 2018 and NIH 2023, the government has roughly spent $330 million on genetic editing. The government is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on genetic editing, but not enough money to make vaccines for many dangerous viruses or to make safe drinking water. In fact, according to NIH 2020, at the very beginning of the COVID pandemic, the health department was underfunded. And maybe if it wasn't, the pandemic might have not been as bad as it was in America. The government is prioritizing genetic editing over our health, our safety, because genetic surgery can cost around $2.2 million. In conclusion, genetic editing is seen by millions of people only for the money, not for the positive impact. That is why, even if it works safely, it would still hurt our world more than it will help it. Still commonly, people only focus on the benefits of genetic examples. Take for example, sickle cell disease. An extremely painful disease causes stroke, severe pain in joints and limbs, high fever, chest pain, and breathing difficulties. Most vital organs can suffer long-term damage due to chronic oxygen shortage. According to the Global Health Research Center, around 300,073 people died because of sickle cell disease in 2021 only. And now, in 2025, more than 20 million people have sickle cell disease. You might be wondering, why have we been talking about this disease for a very long time? Oh, because there's a solution for it. You can do genetic therapy to solve it. See, there's still hope. But only if you're rich, because according to ProPublica, genetic therapy for sickle cell disease costs around $2.2 million. In fact, according to ASH publication research, out of 20 million people, only about 100 out of 20 million people, only about 100 genetically edited their babies. Imagine you're a parent, your child has sickle disease. Every single day, he's struggling, crying, having strokes, and he might even go blind. You know that you would sacrifice your life for your child, but you just can't. You would feel desperate seeing your child being in pain constantly and not being able to help him and to save him only because you don't have enough money? Do you really want money to dictate human life? If the government agreed to such a surgery, it would be available only to those who could afford it, not to those who truly need it. This would create a world where the rich get to live and the poor get to suffer. You might wonder if there's a solution that could keep genetic editing as an option. I think if there's a group who supports specific changes about genetic editing, and if the world would fund these groups, they could make a real difference on how we look at genetic editing. The changes would first be the prices of the surgeries, because they should be acceptable and not delusional. The prices also should be accessible to all classes, middle, low, and high. Many parents already feel challenged to pay normal medical bills. Genetic editing shouldn't make it harder. Also, the government should do a background check on all scientists, making sure they are all doing the surgeries for the right reason. And the government should ban any use of human as the lab rats in any ways. If any community would support those changes, genetic editing might have been accepted into the world better. But there would still be the ethical issues, which are more about beliefs and faith. In the future, will doctors ask if you want to upgrade your baby to look like Tom Holland or to be built like The Rock? Will genetics become a shopping list? To sum it all up, these changes are reversible. They shape a person's future without their consent. Babies aren't a scientific experiment, they're human beings. If scientists fail, the child suffers, but the scientist moves on as if life were disposable. Every person has a message to deliver, a life to live. But genetic editing risks rewriting those messages before they're ever spoken. Scientists aren't just altering DNA, they're altering destiny. And parents, if they want to edit their children's genetics to create a trophy baby, they're not acting out of love. They're acting like investors, but children are an investment to their lives. Human life isn't a business plan, it's a story, and every child deserves a chance to write their own.